What's up, guys? We are back with another Masters of the Universe Classics review. We're taking a look at another William Stout collection figure. We are taking a look at Commander Karg today. So maybe the one that's the least exciting of the bunch because we've already gotten another Karg, but I would be lying if I said that this was not the one that I wanted the most because, well, this is the one that matters the most to me, and I am very, very excited to take a look at this guy. It only pains me to say that we will never get the full lineup of villains from the movie, but this gets us one step closer. So we've of course got a brown mailer box for this guy, as is the case for all the figures. But as far as the actual packaging goes, he of course comes in that standard and classic at this point Grayskull brick packaging. We've got the figure in the window, we've got the green bricks down there on the bottom, and then the back of the package has some fantastic artwork, great cross-sell for this wave and then the last Filmation wave, as well as a bio. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, our William Stout movie-ish version of Karg. So this one's definitely the least exciting of the bunch. Not because I don't want a movie Karg, don't get me wrong, it's just because, well, we've already got a figure that's exactly this sculpt, it's just a repaint this time around, so it's not quite on the same level as He-Man or Skeletor. Could anything really be, but this is still a really exciting figure because, well, it's something that I've wanted for a really long time. I've always wanted to get all of the villains from the movie, and we're almost there. I don't think we're ever going to get there. We still need that Beastman, and we still need Evil Lyn, but I'm glad we have Karg to kind of round out a nice little trio of villains as far as him and Blade and Sarad. So let's take a look and see how this guy moves around. If you've played around with the comic version from Super7, or if you've seen any other reviews of that figure, you know what to expect here. So we've got a head that really can't do a great deal because he's got a massive head of hair. He can sort of bobble around and then you can rotate, but at the same time, he sort of gets in the way of himself because he's got these big shoulder pads. The arms go all the way out and then they do rotate at the shoulder. The cape is going to get in the way. I do have some really tight joints on this figure, not in the sense that they're problematic, they're just sort of squeaky right now. You've got a bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, and then there is swivel on his hook hand, and then you've got swivel and hinge on his regular hand. We've got an ab crunch, so he goes forward a little bit. He's got the big armor piece, so that kind of gets in the way, and then he goes backwards a little bit. You've got your waist twist. Legs go pretty much all the way out, probably further than Karg really could do, and then they kick forward a little bit. You've got more of that armor in the way again, and then they kick backwards, so you can get them. The more you twist and kind of move, you'll get it closer to 90 degrees. You do have a thigh swivel up in there. Then you've got a single jointed knee. You've got a boot cut this time around, so that's a little different than what we've seen so far in this little wave. And then you've got rocker and you've got hinges down at those ankles. So nothing too surprising here. Very much in line with the line, and then of course exactly how the other Karg moves. What really matters here, of course, is the look. And this guy is close to the movie, but he's not exactly, because again, he is a repaint of that comic figure that we got. So he takes into consideration a lot of that sculpt. So this is as close as we're going to get. And I think for the most part, they've got it down correctly. And some of the colors definitely play into how he sort of blends into that movie look, but there's certain things about him that aren't necessarily right. So to begin with, a lot of the suit on the figure is actually missing. So you've got like the quilted texture piece down here for the loincloth. He really had that on his legs and his arms too in the movie, but the comic figure doesn't have that, so of course he doesn't have it here. Like the legs should be not necessarily flat gold, they should look more like this crotch piece here with the texture and then the lines into it, because in the movie he kind of looks like it's not necessarily gold, it looks darker at times, and that's because they're kind of quilted and pleated along the lines of it. So it's different, it's not exact, but it certainly works. The idea comes across really well. The chest piece very much evokes a movie look. You've got those jewels that are around his collar, and then you've got kind of the frilly collar piece, which definitely works there. And of course the black armor with the gold piping. He's got these kind of gold, I don't know what you want to call these, just designs really, the tubes that kind of run down the gauntlets. That's definitely very much a movie look. And then you've got the hook over here, which is nicely done. Again, nice swivel action. It helps to kind of just up the play factor on him. And then you got the standard black boots, which very much fit. So I think he looks really good just at a base level. He's just, you know, kind of not there 100% because of the fact that he is a repaint. So I'm not too upset about it. It is what it is. I understand that they're not going to retool an entire figure or remake an entire figure just to be able to get Karg out. If they could have done that, they probably would have gone and done Evil Lyn or something. And then you've got the cape back here, which has the fur on the backside, and then it's just a rubbery piece of red maroon plastic almost. And this very much kind of gives that movie look and feel as well. So he definitely looks good as far as just sort of giving that movie vibe. He's not 100% there, but I can't really fault it either. It definitely looks like Karg at first glance. It's not until maybe you take a step back and remember exactly what his suit looks like that you realize, yeah, they had to make some concessions here to make him in this line without just, you know, making an entirely new figure. Where they still knocked it out of the park, though, just like with the comic figure, is the head sculpt. This thing still looks just like him. I think this is a great, great likeness to the movie. The sculpt on the face is tremendous. There is a ton of detail packed into all the wrinkles, those deep-set eyes, the mouth with all those nasty teeth in there. And then, of course, you've got a nice wash all over the face. You've got that massive mane of hair and his two little kind of bat ears almost that stick out. I always thought that Karg was the weirdest looking thing. I always thought he looked like one of the Critters from Critters, except he was like a full-grown man, which was really weird. That's always what I think of when I think of his face, is I think of that Critters movie for whatever reason, and it very much comes through here, so I suppose that's a good sign since I'm kind of getting that same vibe. I really, really dug the way that comic figure looked, and I think it translated really well into the movie version when they just painted him up to look more like his movie counterpart from, well, the neck up. Now, as far as comparisons go, there is stuff to compare, but at the same time, there's sort of not. Because, I mean, he's just a palette swap. This guy is more in line with the movie. He's still not 100% because some things are a little different. He doesn't really have the loincloth kind of thing in the movie. He mostly has this texture design on his actual pants, which is why his pants kind of look a little darker in the movie than they are. They are still gold, but they definitely don't look more like the loincloth than his just sort of flat gold pants. You get that design because he's a repaint of the comic figure, really. But they're just two different versions of the same character. So you've got your movie version, well, more in line with your movie version, and then you've got your more in line with the comic version. I'm not so sure that I prefer one over the other, really, because this is the more nostalgic approach for me, but I love the way this figure looks. I think they translated the comic version into figure form really well, just how those colors pop. So two different versions of the same figure, depending on how you want to set up your shelf and your displays, you've got a couple different options now. Now, as far as accessories goes, Karg comes with the same kind of stuff that came with his comic figure. Again, just repaints kind of things. So he comes with his dagger, with his little knife, and it's just as weird of a design now as it was with the other figure. Blue handle with some gold accents for the hilt and then the actual blade itself. He can hold this, of course, in his right hand. It's not going in his left. And then he comes also with his gun. So just a flat gunmetal-y black kind of color with a pretty decent sculpt on it. We've, again, seen this stuff before, and he can also hold this in his right hand. So nothing too crazy, exactly what you would expect him to have. I usually don't care too much about that because it's all about the hook for me, but I'm glad we've got options when it comes to how you want to display him or just to set a scene with other characters. So overall, a pretty solid figure. I mean, it's hard to compete with He-Man and Skeletor. So don't get me wrong, I'm still a huge fan of this. I'm glad we have him. He looks as close as we're going to get to the movie, I'm sure. I understand why he's not 100% there, but he definitely evokes that look, that feel, and he certainly does it for me on a nostalgia level too, when you throw him next to Blade and Sarad, or have him going after Gwildor or something like that. It definitely still evokes that movie feel. It's just, I'm going to say it again, it's hard to go up against a Dolph Lundgren-style He-Man or a Frank Langella Skeletor when it comes to figures. Karg is definitely at the bottom of the barrel, but it's still exciting to actually have this figure and to get one step closer to having a full movie roster. And again, Super7 and the Horsemen did a great job with this one. He's not 100% movie accurate, but at the same time, he looks close enough that he will definitely fill that spot on my shelf, no problem. So that's going to do it for this look at the Super7 Masters of the Universe Classics William Stout Collection Karg. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.